This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pornian Bakery. If you're located in the Pornian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pornian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. Okay, super. All right, and we're back after 2 weeks. I love the shirt. You got that in Hawaii?
No, I got it here before going there.
Oh, okay. I thought you got that. All right, that's so funny. When you hopped on, I was like, oh, Hawaii shirt. I like it. Okay, so how was your trip? Let's go. Let's hear about it. Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, Hawaii's amazing.
For me, yeah. Always been my paradise on earth and still is.
Yeah, I know. Remember when you wanted to work at the pineapple farm? And you're like, I could just do like a work first day or something
like that.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. What's it like? You went to which island?
Well, I went to the main island, the only island that has tall buildings, which is Oahu. Okay. And I stayed in Waikiki, so that is a very resorty, touristy place. So when we landed in the evening, went to the hotel right by the beachfront, right? So then we just went out to go get something to eat, and all I hear is Japanese mainly.
What? Oh, like Japanese
people speaking, yeah.
Oh, no way. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a ton of Japanese tourists, as well as American, but those are two things that you're going to find mainly.
Is it the time of the year, or is it like?
It could be. It's their winter, right? Maybe that's why. But like generally, a lot of Japanese come to Hawaii as a tourist destination.
That's really fascinating because remember I told you in Boracay it's like Koreans,
mm-hmm.
So it's like they're congregating. Like if you go to different vacation spots, like they have main spots that everyone goes to.
I feel like it's I feel like it's based on maybe the economy too, right?
Oh, interesting.
Like maybe Japan's economy, money wise, is better. Like, or it's okay, spend in the U.S.
Oh, right.
Like
Yeah,
maybe Korean's maybe it's a bit farther. Maybe more expensive based on their dollar. I don't know, right? Could be things.
Yeah.
like
okay, that makes sense. So when you said that there's like a lot of Japanese people, did you notice that everything was tailored to Japanese people as well? Like were there like lots of sushi spots and like
there is a lot of sushi spots, but it's like the signage or like in both languages, English and Japanese. And like even
no way.
At the hotel that we were at, they were like,
wow.
When I saw the Japanese people were checking in, the person was speaking in Japanese and doing the bowing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, dude, this is so crazy because we are really becoming a globalized society.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though we think about, the perils and stuff, are like, oh, economy's going down, whatever. But like, I really feel like Asia's on the rise. If you saw that there's like Japanese people and then they have the Japanese language there, it's kind of like, remember before it was like English is the de facto, which I guess technically it is because it was English and Japanese, but like you're seeing all these other languages rise and it's like signaling globalization. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, keep going with your
just weather, all the weather, like every day was like just beautiful. Like I
oh really?
25,
Damn.
26 degrees, sunny. If any rain, it was like early morning, just a sprinkle, because it's like right by the ocean, so just the clouds are blowing away.
Wow, so it's really like great all the time.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. Wait, how is the prices though? Are they
they're expensive?
I heard it was like really. Yeah, I heard it was really expensive because it's an island, right? And then when you bring in like imports and stuff, it's Is it double the price or like triple? Like, what are we looking at here?
No, I don't think I felt that was like maybe double in some things. Yeah,
Double. Okay.
yeah.
So like,
In some
yeah.
things, because there's a lot of things that are fresh, right? Seafood is very fresh.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so like
So it's
everything.
cheaper.
Yeah, in that sense, but it's still an island, right? Because it's touristy place, they're still gonna jack up the price a little bit.
Yeah, I got the price. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
There's this
mhm.
there's a relativity thing in like business where they always compare either Coke or McDonald's to like if it's like
Right.
in Canada it's $1, what's it like there? So like, did you see any like pop or anything?
Yeah, yeah.
Were you? No, I know, but were you
Oh,
able
like
to
pay
like
attention
link it?
to
So
the
it's
price.
like you know, like right here.
Actually,
it's
it's
like $1 or
so
something.
it depends where you go. So if you're gonna stay in
Mm.
hotel restaurants, it's always gonna be more expensive. But if you find
Okay,
your
that makes
local
sense.
things, it's actually just normal pricing.
Oh, so you're looking at like $1,
Yeah,
roughly.
maybe something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. When we went to Japan, it was $2 for one Coke. So it's like double our price. It was
Right.
crazy expensive.
I'm trying to remember what it was. Maybe it was $2. But like
Oh,
the
I
food,
mean, like so it's $1 American
for the
so
cop
it's
kind of
$2.
thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was the food itself is cheaper if it's the local.
Okay. How's the food? Like, what's the majority of the food? Is it like actually pig or
Well, that
seafood, like you said?
seafood is generally a lot of things because
Really?
they
Yeah.
yeah mahi the fish is basically like the restaurants get them daily or something like that. The fresh catches.
Wow, that's cool.
So like as soon as like when we went there to eat and Thivia's like she got a fish burger. She's like, oh, this tastes really really fresh. Like this is
Oh, really? Eh?
you can
Dang.
taste it right away. Yeah, and like shrimp
That's
farms
so
they have, so that's why a ton of shrimp is
shrimp
fresh.
farms?
Yeah,
Okay. Wow, that's so fascinating.
and
See,
like
I
I want to
like
tell you like I think population wise, it's like there's a ton of Filipinos.
what?
Yeah, there's a lot of Filipinos there because like when we got picked up, like the Uber is a Filipino, and like there's so many Filipinos
Oh,
there.
okay.
Then of course the tourism is Japanese, but then there's a lot of Americans, like white Americans, but then though there are natives or mixed natives now, right, with other
Okay,
Polynesian
yeah, yeah.
cultures. Yeah, the true natives are not as many.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I did hear that though, that a lot of Filipino people will go to Hawaii because it's close
Hmm.
and it's like America, so I guess
Yeah,
you can make more money. Um, that's interesting to know because like even in Canada, if you go to Calgary, like there's a huge amount of Filipino people there because they like flock because it's cheap and then you can get like
sure.
enough money, you know. Um, that's fascinating. Okay, what was the city like? Was it like Toronto kind of or
Yeah, kind of like Toronto, but I guess much better weather. Honolulu, but
okay.
we didn't really stay in Honolulu. That's the main city. We were in the Waikiki area, which is just tourism
So
destination.
but you went to see the city or no?
Not too much. We did a lot of different things. We're more like whale watching, like just the
Oh, sick.
island tour, then the Pearl Harbor.
Oh, okay. I want to ask you about the Pearl Harbor one because I heard that one's amazing. But it makes me think of the food as well because like when you were gonna go there and like my initial thoughts like okay must have like a lot of pig stuff because like
They
Polynesian
do.
people like
Yeah,
pig. No, but right for sure. But like it's sort of like Japan. Everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna get so much sushi in Japan. It's like it's not really like their go-to. Like they'll have sushi, but their main go-to is like Korean rice with like chicken cutlet.
right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, okay, so it's like mainly
It's kind of
fish.
like it's mainly fish. Yeah, because if
Wow,
if you
fascinating.
if you if to do the traditional pig, they cook it underground, right?
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, they cook it underground for like I don't know if it's a couple of days, but it's like
Right. So it's so intensive to
yeah,
make the pig.
yeah,
Just like the sushi in Japan, it's like no, like they're really trying to. It's not like here where it's like I'll make you quick sushi in like 2 minutes.
yeah.
It's like they're trying to make it really good. So it's not like you're not just gonna walk in every
Sure.
convenience store and buy sushi.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah. But they're
That's
like
so fascinating.
it's one of the tours, she was really good. Like just explaining
Cool.
her, because she's from there, right? So because they're used to so much Asian food now, it's just a mixture.
Oh, what?
Yeah, like
That's cool too.
I like her son would say like, "Oh, I'm coming home. I'm gonna get some Korean," because they love food. Hawaiians love food, so it's always
Oh, that's cool.
like, "Oh yeah, I'll just eat it." Yeah, okay, yeah, bring that, or like
Yeah, yeah,
make
yeah.
some, like fry some fish, right? It's very
Yeah.
like Polynesian wise. It just reminds me of some things from even in when Philippines, right? Just you just fry your fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's all normal stuff for them.
All
But
right. So when
it's
you said
now
like,
they bring in Japanese and Korean now. It's all mixed in to their local
okay,
stuff.
okay, that's so interesting too, because you're like, so like a lot of people, you're either on the fence. You're either like Filipino people are more Asian or Filipino people are more Polynesian, right? And
Mm,
I don't know, like it depends on what your perspective is,
sure.
okay? But we do hold some mannerisms similar to Polynesians and similar to Asians, right? So when you said that they love food and they love trying food, it's so funny that you're like, oh, I should be like, I'm gonna bring Korean food home, and they're like, yeah, bring that, bring that. My parents, well, my dad, not my mom. My dad's like that. Anything like just if it's like new, it's like, oh, we have this person. Yeah, try that. Let me try it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and it's like, oh, that must be like an ingrained, I don't know, Polynesian or
Maybe. Yeah.
something. Like
Yeah.
you just want to try it because food is so
Mm-hmm.
interesting, I guess. So that's so cool that now because of globalization, they're getting to try um different types of food, and it's affecting the way they build their own food. Is that what you're saying? Like it's like
Yeah,
shifting
sure. Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
It's
Because
so
it's
yeah.
also
Yeah.
like even her, our boyfriend or husband. It's I think he's not even Hawaiian, right? So it's already mixing up.
Ooh, dude. Okay, this is timing so perfectly to like my other topics and the thing we talked about right before the podcast started because I'm starting to see a huge shift in the way we live our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm gonna go on record saying this, the old world's dead. Like what we think of like our parents, like the traditional stream of living, I think we're in this pocket now where we're phasing that out. And certain people are still doing that and certain people are not doing that. And they're like becoming this new world thing. When I get into the next topic, it'll make more sense. But like because we're so globalized, because technology is so plentiful, you're creating a different type of human. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like
Sure.
you would have never had that opportunity before. It's like you want Asian food, go to Asia. You know what I'm saying? Because it was so separate. But now with like bringing stuff in and then changing your way of food, it's creating a whole new style of living. And the best example is Chinese food. Like when it became Western, like you remember the documentary? It's like In Search of Kung Pao,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and there is no Kung Pao chicken. Like we made that up
Mm-hmm.
in the West. It's sort of like that, right? Because it's like now you're gonna get these different amalgamations of food that were not really the type before, but it's like a new type of food, and we think that's the food. Like pizza here is not the same as pizza in Italy.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right, right.
So okay, yeah, yeah. All right, go on with
Yeah, there
the
might be
Hawaii.
things like that changing, especially with now that like Korea has really entered their food game into North America.
All right,
Right.
100%, dude. I'm telling you, I really, if I go back to Asia, well, when I go back to Asia, I have to see South Korea. They are exploding in the West. Like they're
Mm-hmm,
exploding in the
mm-hmm.
Philippines. And when we stopped by and I was sending you those like robot videos, I'm like, dude, this airport is insane. And if this is just the airport, what is the city like?
Right.
With like the robots. Like I feel like they're booming, South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something going on. It's like the new Japan or something,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
sure. Yeah,
Especially the foreign investment. Like
yeah.
you see it in your area, like you see Korean
Oh yeah,
stuff
yeah,
popping up,
yeah.
right?
Koreans, yeah, mixture of stuff, but yeah, depends on people live in the population, right?
Or,
Generally,
or
what happens?
for sure, for sure. All
Yeah,
right, here's the best example. Pickering, super white, right?
yeah,
Now you have bubble tea stores. Have you been? Like just
yeah, yeah.
drive
I've seen
down towards,
that.
and you're like, why are so many bubble tea stores now? And like the owl that's right beside me, it's a Korean
Oh
24
yeah,
hour spot, just
there's
opened
one
up
there.
in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pickering, dude. They're definitely exploding, and
Sure.
you're like, where?
Hmm.
It's definitely not like you're not like adhering to white culture. So there must be a bunch of Koreans around.
Yeah, I
Why are
think.
there a bunch? You know what I mean? You're
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, what's happening? And this is why I think we're really entering into a different phase of like society.
Hmm.
Like think about pronouns even. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
why is that a thing? But it is a thing, you know? All right, go on about Hawaii.
Yeah. But again, yeah, it's very expensive. As in, like, one thing they always say is like owning a home is much more
Okay.
expensive than here, of course.
Oh my God, this is the great. You're like queuing up everything for me, bro. Okay, so, 100%. So, another thing about the old world that I think is gonna die is like I really don't think most people are gonna own homes. And are you can own certain things, sure, but it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
And like your when Davos said you're gonna own nothing and you're gonna be happy, and they talked about renting.
Hmm.
I really think they're on the money. It's only because things are so expensive. You're building a lot of condos around here, sure, but like the money that you have to spend to keep that up and then get a more expensive one, it's just so much. You know what I mean? And I feel like they're making it harder for people. Like, how's there like $1 million now? You're like, well, what are you talking about?
Hmm.
$1 million when we were kids was like, well, this is amazing. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Right.
Like I could live. Sorry, just muting my
Hmm.
phone. Like when we were kids, you're like $1 million is amazing. Like I can be a millionaire for life. My life is set. Now $1 million, like that's just one house, bro. You
Yeah.
need like multi millions.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm like, when you said that it's hard for them to buy houses, it's like this is the new normal. This is where we're shifting.
Yeah.
Like different foods, renting. All
Hmm.
right, keep going.
Um, I was looking for when I landed, like, seeing a lot of like the homeless thing.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah. I wanted to ask you about that.
so
Yeah,
there
okay, go.
is a few pockets, but I don't know if it's like as much as I thought. It's not as much as I thought there were going to be.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, okay.
But
Good, good.
there's like some open parks you can see the. I think it was mainly in Honolulu, nothing in Waikiki. And then
Okay.
when we were doing the island tour, he was showing like the new Obama's compound that he built. So
What?
we can drive by it, like, but it's all covered. You can't see the place because it's all trees and stuff. But it's like it's all along the main
Yeah,
road, right?
I heard that
Yeah.
they're like, I didn't know that was real. That like all these billionaires are in like mega people are building like bunkers in Hawaii.
I don't know about
Is that
bunkers. No, no, no. It's just a house. I don't know if there's a bunker and stuff like that. That's not what it was said. It's just like this is Obama's house, right?
okay?
And just recently finished. And like just if you drive like just a couple minutes down or 5 minutes down, that's where I saw like a few of the
Homeless people.
homeless people, the tents. So it's kind of like
Ooh,
close to Obama's place.
interesting.
That's what I thought.
How bad were the tents though? Like what? So
I think I saw
was
like
it
4 or 5
aggressive?
only.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Were they aggressive homeless people? Was it like
No, I didn't. I didn't see
no
it or
money,
encountered any
like aggressive?
aggressiveness. They're like the ones I saw were just like lying there, like kind of like tanning.
Yeah. I got you.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. And so that's good to know that Hawaii doesn't have too many homeless people.
I mean,
Um,
they do have, but they have other ways. So like if people are with kids, they do have places for them,
like shelters and like
shelters and things like that. Yeah, yeah.
interesting. Okay. That's good that they have that.
Right. But it's because it's so expensive. That's why the homelessness is there. Right. It's just
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Yeah. Because like, how are you gonna buy like food and like all that? But can they not pick it off the trees?
Yeah, you can.
You
You
know,
have
like
mango trees. You have like all these things.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because
But that's
I
only in
wonder
the. That's only mainly in the city. A lot of the people that come to work, that's the only city they come in, do their tours, like the work as
oh,
tours and stuff.
interesting.
I mean, they live in the
Yeah.
in the rural areas.
Oh, you're right. So they like come to the city, just like Toronto. It's like you live in
Yeah,
the outskirts and you go
yeah.
in. But like with the homeless people, so in the Philippines, they're like fishermen. They're not like homeless because they're technically fishermen, but
Right.
they can just like live out on the beach and like
Hmm.
their houses are kind of just like shacks. Like there's really nothing there. Is there that opportunity for those homeless people, or is it more
No, I
like
don't.
I'm saying like
Yeah, I
no,
understand what you're
eh?
saying. No, I don't
Okay.
think it's not like that.
They
Yeah,
can't just live.
yeah.
They can't just like live there and whatever. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Mm.
But
Okay,
it is a better
interesting.
place to be homeless than in other areas.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Is there like a lot of celebrities around? Do people like, oh, I
Well, they
heard,
have
because
their
I heard
homes
there's a lot of,
around. They have a ton of homes.
but they're never like,
I
oh, I
don't
just saw
know.
like
They can just
whatever.
come anytime, right? So I don't know what times they come.
Uh,
Like Jackie Chan has a house.
oh, really?
Yeah, it's a pretty
Wow.
big area. Yeah. And you can see it. It's not
I
even like
have to go.
it's not even like it's just a fence, but it's like a low fence.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, is it because I've always there's all right, there's certain places that for me I'm like, I don't know, like it's like low on my list because I didn't think it would be that great and it might be overhyped.
Hmm.
Like Vegas for me was like, it might be overhyped. I went, I was like, dude, this place is amazing. So is it like that? Like, is that what you're saying? Like Hawaii is not overhyped.
Um well, for me, no. I it's just
I know for
the
you, for
vibe.
you.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
yeah. But like, do you think if I went, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's pretty sick, or was it like,
It depends
yeah,
what you do. It depends what you're planned to do. And it depends which island you
okay,
go to. I think that's what matters as well.
okay, good to know, good to
This
know.
is the only island that has the tall buildings and like a city type. The other islands are just they're one road all the way around.
What
Yeah,
really?
that's the main way to get
Dang,
around. Yeah, they don't have freeways on the other islands.
interesting.
Only this island.
So when you said city, is it like compared to like okay, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto? Like what kind of
Well,
like what
it's
are we
not like
talking about here?
Toronto. Maybe it's more
Okay,
a lesser like Montreal, maybe, or like
okay, so
Ottawa.
like
Like
kind of
there are tall
yeah, okay, I see what you're
buildings.
saying.
They are building high rises and condos, but it's not like it's not as
It's not like
dense.
Toronto where it's like every yeah, dense, dense.
Yeah,
That's the word. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's cool. What is the well, what is the Pearl Harbor thing like? I'm curious about that.
That was very fascinating because I didn't go the last time that I went there, which was many years ago. But
Okay.
so this time I made sure we went to Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
First thing that they make you do is to go see the memorial on the Arizona.
They make you do that? They're like, you
No,
gotta
no, it's not
go.
like make you, but
Or
like
is it like a
part of
tour?
the
Okay,
part
cool.
of the tour thing
Yeah.
was the first thing is going to the memorial,
Okay,
and
okay, cool, cool, cool.
what I really liked is everything is symbolisms. Um,
Ooh, okay. That's cool.
so what I liked, there was a ranger that speaks to you before getting onto the ferry to the memorial because the memorial is built on top of the destroyed USS Arizona,
Okay.
which was
Interesting.
the reason on that one is because it was burned. It was burning for 2 days because that's where like
Oh wow.
they had the ammunition on the bottom of the ships, and when the Japanese dropped those bombs, it blew those up, and that's why it was just flaming for like 2 days.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the ranger said before going there, this is not a tourist destination. This is a mass grave.
Oh dang. That's crazy. Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead.
So I was like,
Yeah. Wow.
oh wow, I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to say it. So after that, it was like
Yeah.
everyone was generally silent because the whole way down, this is a memorial you're going to.
Dang, yeah, that's true. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you do the memorial. You walk around, you see all the names and stuff. You see the ship under the water, right? And
Yeah.
then you come back, and then we went to part of our tour was the Battleship Missouri. So Battleship
Okay.
Missouri is it's kind of in line with each other. So like you can see I would say the Arizona Memorial. Then along a little bit further down, then you see the Battleship Missouri just rested there. So the Battleship Missouri is where Japanese went on that boat when they landed in Tokyo to sign the surrender documents.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's the
Interesting.
symbolism where it's like Arizona's where for America, this started the World War II for them, and then that's where it ended.
Okay. Nice. What
And
was it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but like the battleship, which these are like the gunships, they don't do those anymore. We have
Oh, what do you mean?
we don't
Ships? Like
have
the turret kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These are like
we don't do that.
we don't do those anymore. We have more like aircraft carriers and things like that. So we don't do
Oh yeah, like
battleships.
dropping. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
This was the time when it was only a few aircraft carriers and mainly battleships.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So that's how it shifted. But the battleship was used for other things even after World War II. But then when they decommissioned it, that's where they put it, kind of in just as here's the start of World War II for America, and there's the end of World War II for America.
Was it like like I'm trying to think. Have you been to the 9/11 one in New York?
No.
Ah, okay. They turned it kind of like a museum.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it like that?
Yeah,
so it's like
yeah.
as you're going through, there's like little displays and you can read about whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, it's also the place is also an active base, right? That's so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's an active base. Yeah, so you can take all the pictures you want inside the visitor center of the area of the Pearl Harbor, and then taking photos up to the memorial. You can take photos in the memorial, and then we had to go back and take a bridge. So taking photos along the bridge to Battleship Missouri.
Dang.
So on the Battleship Missouri, you can take as many photos as you want.
Okay, that's interesting. Because they're like, oh, you might leak some information that
It could be, yeah, but it's also like people live there, right? It's an active base. So soldiers are living there, or their families are living there. So the bus just takes you to the place, and then you can do whatever you want inside.
That's so interesting. What do they do there? Like, what did you ask them? Like, what are you still doing? Like, it's actually like war?
No, active base as in like the training happens there. Because I was hearing also the jets go up.
Oh,
they're fighter jets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I always wonder, what do you do at a base if, like, I guess you would just be training, but if you're not doing war, like, what do you do on the daily?
Training, just active duty. I don't. I'm not sure. Like, they're watching things. There are things that they have Coast Guards, right?
Okay.
So they have jobs. It's not like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. How is the glass floor thing? Like, you could see right through, and
we didn't do a glass floor boat tour. You're talking about?
Oh, okay. There's no I might have, like, somebody else who went was saying that, like, if you go, you can see, like, right to the bottom. There's like glass, and then you see like a ship, and it's still like leaking oil or something like that. Or
yeah, that is the Arizona. But I don't think it's glass. It's just like there's like a balcony kind of cut out inside the memorial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And there is still oil leaking from that.
Okay, yeah.
From Arizona. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
Oh. Was it like? Were there bodies that you could see or anything?
No.
I guess maybe they would take the bodies away.
The bodies are in there probably.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Because they died in there or they burned. Right. That's another thing.
Right.
Also, no, like, there were a few people that survived, and those people, when they died, like later on, they also asked to be buried there. So their names are there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder about that because, like, if you go to war, you want to take the body back so you could bury it in the home country.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, would they do that there too? If there's bodies inside the boat, would you, like, fish the body out and then bury it, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
they can only there were
bodies still there.
Yeah, I mean, if only if they can get to it, right? But now it's just sunken in and stuff like that, and kept like. But there's a ton of, like, in the visitor center, like, all these plaques and stuff saying, like, there's so many people that died.
Really?
Eternally on patrol. That's like they're under their on top of their names, kind of thing. Yeah.
Is it stars? Like, how did they memorialize? How they memorialize the people? Is it like carved names, stars? Like, what did they do?
It's like it's just around a flag, and it's like all these names of each ship. So the different name, this ship, USS, whatever their name of the boat, and these were the people that were on it, eternally on patrol, or like they were rescued, or like something happened or something, right? Only a very few were rescued by somebody else. Like, I think I remember reading one of the Australian boats came and rescued them in time. But then there was another boat that were lost or sunken forever gone. Yeah.
Okay. You know when people go to like it's like the 9/11 place, the Auschwitz,
hmm
and they're like, oh, it feels like somber. Did he set the tone, the tour guide, when he's like, oh, this is a mass grave site, not actually a tour site?
This was the ranger did going to the memorial.
Right. But did that set the tone, and then you're like, oh, psychologically, or did it feel kind of like? I'm wondering about energies. Now.
I think it's
like,
no.
you know what I'm saying?
I think that is what
You
set the
felt it?
tone. Yeah, that's what set the
Okay,
tone.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Because I was wondering about that. People were like, oh, I was there, and I was like, ooh. But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe somebody said something
because
like
she's
heard.
also like what the ranger said was very interesting because it's like you don't know who's with you on the boat.
Ooh, that's true. That's true too.
So
That's true. I didn't even think about
yeah,
that.
so that's when she said those things. Then I realized, okay, so it's not like this is where you don't know, like your neighbor person that's sitting next to you could be someone connected to them that were there.
Yeah, true. They didn't even say that when we went to freaking the 9/11 place, bro. Like it didn't give that tone. Like they did like say it's important, but that's a good framing aspect of it. Like this
Right.
mass gravesite. You're like, oh, that is true.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's why
So-
those are the things that I was like, because you don't think about it. I was like, okay, just Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
right.
That's what I'm saying.
This
Yeah.
is something serious.
I wonder what it'd be like to go to those Nazi internment camps. Like, what would that be like?
Mhm.
Because you're like, dude, people got tortured here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Right.
that would be such a trip. Interesting. Was it free, your tour, or no? You had to pay
No.
for.
You gotta pay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting because it's like, well, I guess it's like using the money to keep the place up. But was it extravagant? You know what I'm saying? Like was it like oh, this is a super high tech and like. the
No,
way
I
you
wouldn't say
put
it's
this up,
high tech in that sense. No, because
Okay.
even when
It's
you're
like
going on the
like was it more?
yeah, only for that area. Then the battleship was cool because you get like their own tour explaining about the boats and like how these gunners worked. It's interesting.
Oh,
like
that's cool. You did that?
yeah. It's interesting. Like those
Oh,
the big guns. It's like you think about it. Like you go into a gun range, you felt the recoil of just a pistol or something.
yeah.
So they've
But imagine
they've exactly, but
Yeah,
they engineered it in
true.
a way somehow that doesn't matter which way the gun was pointed, the recoil somehow didn't push the boat back.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a big
That's
gun.
cool.
Yeah.
Did they do a test fire where they're like, guys,
No,
feel
of
this?
course not.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. You know, you're like,
But they're
oh.
like the guns are like huge. The amount of they're showing how much gunpowder it was. You have to input, and then how big the piece
dang.
of rocket thing is or whatever. Yeah, the bomb or whatever. Yeah.
You never even think about this either. A gun, like a gunner, is the same as a gun. Like when you said, oh, the gunpowder that you put in, you're like, oh yeah, that's so rudimentary.
Yeah.
But it's like, of course, that's how you do it. How
Right.
big was the shell, like the bullet?
I guess there's different sizes, but like maybe I've seen different ones, so probably up to my shoulders or some things like that. Yeah.
Wow,
that big.
that's pretty long.
Yeah.
That's cool. How was the actual boat? Was it? I guess they don't really make them anymore. Like you said, they don't.
Yeah, they
really
don't
use
make
that
them
type of-
anymore. Yeah, they don't. But
So it's like
you
old
can
school?
yeah,
Like-
but you can walk about it, and they say you could get lost if you're not with your tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And they're
okay.
like, if you do it on your own, and if they only check around at near the end of the closing to make sure nobody's in any of them.
What? Wow. That's so interesting. So is it like, did it feel like, remember in GTA 5 when you bought the submarine and then we were
Mhm.
going through it? Is it kind of like that? Like it's kind of like metallic and like
Yeah,
cold,
yeah.
I'm assuming. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. How'd that feel? Was it like,
It was interesting
claustrophobic?
being. It could get claustrophobic, but it
Oh,
was
really, eh?
yeah, especially if you're in the middle of the ocean and you're like going around that.
yeah, like psychologically it could like mess with you.
Yeah. But like psychologically, also like
Yeah.
at the time of the war, it's like you're looking for where the enemies are. You don't
Yeah.
know, and then like
Facts.
it's like,
Yeah. Was it small though, or is it like cramped
It's-
spaces or pretty big?
No, I don't know how much crew they had on top, but because it's just now only tours, right? So there's enough spaces to walk around. But the width of it was designed in a way for, at the time, the size of the Panama Canal. So that's how they were crossing into the.
How big is that?
I don't know, but I don't know how to, because it's now they take the Panama Canal takes the big cargo ships.
Okay.
So there weren't cargo ships back then. So whatever size they had at the time, because this like how many? There was what I also learned was from the tour was if Japan did a second round of attacks, it could be a different world.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because so it was so there was a lot of museum things within the visitor area. So there was like one of them like talking about one of the Japanese spies that was in Hawaii, who like as if he owned a farm. So he was taking planes and he was taking photos of Pearl Harbor and stuff, or giving information of that area. Yeah. It's very interesting to see because it's not that long ago. Japan was what China was now, in the sense of enemies to America.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. How we're always like talking about China's like, they're stealing our information. They're doing all this.
But China was, U.S. was good with China at that time.
Ooh, that's so interesting too. Because then you're like, geopolitics is always malleable. You never know who your ally is going to be like in 100 years.
Right.
Wow. Because you never hear about Japan now. You're never worried about Japan like attacking.
They weren't like worried of Japan. The belief was like Japan's never gonna like surprise attack us. That was one thing. Yeah. But there was like somebody explaining like to be vigilant, that they could do an attack. And if they do an attack, it would be someone, he did say this like about a year ago. It could be a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor.
Interesting.
And then about a year later, the attack happened.
But why the two? Like, why if another bomb happened?
So if they did a second strike, they would have been hitting the oil reservoirs that they have, because America didn't really have a lot of battleships on that side at the time.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, when you said oil reserves, it made me think of StarCraft. All right, so one of the tactics...
let me tell you before we continue. The reason also why Japan felt they needed to attack was that it's all about oil.
Yes, exactly. All right, yeah.
Right, as simple as that. It was really about oil, and to not stop Japan from getting their resources.
Okay, yep. Okay, yeah, totally. Okay, so it's so funny that, like, really people kind of, like, downplay video games, but I really think that a lot of strategy games when we were kids taught us a lot. And it's just, I'm only making the connections now because we're like, oh yeah, like, that is how it would work. But one of the tactics that was used quite heavily in StarCraft is, do you remember Zerg?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
And then they had the overlords, which are these like giant like, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like this like floating jellyfish kind of thing. And then it was, as it moved around, it allowed you to see the map. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what you could do is if you upgraded those overlords, you can fill them with Zerglings or like army people.
Sure.
So one of the best attacks that you would do is you'd make tons and tons of overlords, and then you'd send it straight to the resource base, and then you drop all of the people at where they're trying to collect minerals in order to build, and you destroy that facility, because then they run out of money and then they can't continue their army.
Right.
But it's like the exact same thing. If you can attack the main point of how they're fueling themselves, it's like game over.
Yeah.
And it's like such a basic strategy. But it's played out here. It's like, if we just attack those oil reserves, they've got no power to, like, run their ships.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so basic, but it's like, okay,
but
yeah, that's true. Like, that's
one of the places they missed in their first attacks. And
there you go.
What I also read was that one of the ships in the ocean did see like the Japanese planes coming in,
Okay.
but the people at the base were expecting a flight of planes or something coming from California, so they assumed it was them and not Japanese.
Wow. Okay. And that's also interesting too, because it's like a lot of missed intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you look in like spies and stuff, they always say if the intelligence is working, you won't know anything happened, right? We saved.
Right. Yeah.
It was in Kingsman, right? Like if
Yeah.
we save the day, nothing will happen. So it's funny because what you said, like they saw those planes, but they were like, oh, it's just going to be like
We're expecting
like,
a
you know what
flight
I
of
mean?
planes from California. Yeah. So
And then that's a missed opportunity, and then that's how you got bombed. But like same with 9/11, there was like misinformation internally,
Mhm.
and that's how they let these
Yeah.
these terrorists in. But it's like you can see how a tiny bit of misinformation can destroy an entire thing.
Mhm.
You know, create to this like catastrophe.
Yeah.
Because like yeah, you just didn't know. But how could you? All right, how could you do that now? How could you possibly do that now with all of our like surveillance?
Even within
Like
that,
radars,
yeah,
you
that's.
know?
But you just got to be more skilled about it, I guess, in some way.
True, yeah. True.
But it's still human error. There's still a way that still
Yeah,
happens.
human error. Yeah, true. Interesting. Okay. Um, anything else about that before I ask you about the whale watching?
Uh, no, it was a really interesting thing. But
Worth going to.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just the
Yeah.
historical wise, because they have like different museums within the visitor center. There was stuff about the World War II leading up to that. Then also like why Japanese attacked is part of that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
See, you know what I like about, oh, I mean, this is why we're friends, but the thing I like about you is like that is interesting to me as well. So like you going to Washington, I'm like, that would be so interesting too, like seeing how these things work. But you know what I mean? Like most people are like, oh,
Yeah, of course.
okay. You know, you're like, oh, that was ancient history. It was like, no, it was like technically like not even 200 years or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's just
But do you think
what
like-
always
yeah.
what surprised me through the whole thing was like Japan is in the position where I would say like China is today. It's very how
Yeah,
it switched,
that's
and
really
Japan is a
fascinating.
really good ally to America today, which is not the
Yeah.
case 60 years ago or 100 whatever it was. Yeah.
That is so wild because it's like that. See, that's why you have to look into history, man. Because I think that we would be less controlled as a populace if we understood that geopolitics is malleable. Russia's our enemy today, but they could be our friends tomorrow.
No,
China's our enemy
there were
today,
our
but they could be-
allies in World War II, biggest
That's what I'm
allies.
saying, bro. So, like, what are you guys talking about? Like, when they're like, "Oh, I hate Russia," it's like, look into history because they helped us. So, what are you talking about?
Mhm.
You know, it's just right now that we're having a bit of a rift. Yeah, yeah. Oh, this actually dovetails into another thing, but I'll save it. Uh, yeah. No, it just made me think. Like, do why don't other people find this fascinating? Like you have to just look into it. You know what I mean? It's like this totally makes sense now. Like
Yeah.
everything you're saying, it's like that. Yeah, that clicks. Okay,
Mhm.
of course. But do you think a layman would find that interesting? The tour. So instead of like you have to be a history buff, or is it more like oh, there's a lot there you can see? Like
Probably a bit of both. I think you have to kind of
okay, that's cool.
be interested
Yeah.
in it because you got to read. The stuff is all reading.
Oh
right?
yeah,
There are
okay.
images and stuff, but you got to still go through it or watch. There's some videos and stuff like that too within the museum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. The whale watching. I didn't even know there were whales in freaking Hawaii, bro.
So
what?
yeah, the humpback whales. So they travel.
Okay.
Their route is only I think from like December to the end of March is where they're normally in Hawaii because they travel from Alaska to Hawaii
Oh no way.
and back. Yeah.
Just like because it's like warmer water. so they
Warmer
just float
water.
along?
Some areas are shallower. That's where in Hawaii areas where I guess they have the calves, and then they
Yeah.
feed them, take care of them for like a couple of years, like going back and forth from
Oh, that's cool.
to Alaska
Wow.
and back. Yeah. And so this was the season. They're just going back to Alaska, right? So near the end of it. So we went out and saw because some people complain like sometimes they can't see, sometimes they're not there, right, in the area. But we were surprised when we went and saw like 3-4 pods of in different areas of the whales. And it's not like I mean, these for the whale watching thing is not based on like listening to sonar or anything like that. It's just like by sight. If you see the
no way, wow,
if you see like a puff of smoke coming from the water, then you know that's like the blowhole from the whales. So that you go to.
So there's no tech that they're like.
You can have special tech, but like those are things that are expensive, right, to maintain and things like that. So so it's all based on just visual. You see it, or we'll go in that direction.
That is really cool. Okay, is the water? Is the wind like high while you're there? Like, is it so far off land that you're kind of like, I don't know, like
it's not rocky? Like I didn't feel it was that far as I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was still able to see my hotel and see the land.
Oh, okay.
I even saw like, I saw this is my hotel right there. But like you can,
really?
It's far, but I can still see the hotel.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Was the water like?
No, it wasn't. Wait, well, we're on a bigger boat, not a catamaran. Catamaran maybe is like those smaller ones, and you'll feel it in that. But we're on a bigger kind of boat, so we didn't really feel the waves as much.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, we did that in Iceland, me and Tara, but I would never do it again. Well, at least in Iceland, because that sounds like yours isn't that bad. But even when we were on the huge boat, it was going up like 6 feet up, 6 feet down, and I was just like motion sickness.
I think that depends on how much waves are going through it. There was not like huge waves. Normally, if you want to do, people do go surfing in the mornings.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
But in the Waikiki area, from the Waikiki area of the water, but it's not like has high waves as if you go to the north side of the island, which is called North Shore, and that's where you generally go for high waves.
See, that's why I asked you, because I'm like, isn't it a wavy area? Like people surf and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just part of the island.
Yeah. Which part of the island you go to? Yeah.
That's really cool. Huh.
It's funny, like actually, we were doing an island, part of the island tour. We were dropped off at one of the beach areas in the North Shore, and then we were coming back to wait for the bus to pick us up, and we didn't realize what it was where we walked by, like we were through the parking area, but they were setting up a film shoot or a TV show shoot, and like we were waiting on the dirt area, and they're like, "Oh, can you guys move on the other side because you're in the shot of the angle of the camera."
Oh wow, that's
so we're
cool.
like it was like funny. It was like, we were just in the middle of a TV show shoot.
You had no idea.
I had no idea. So we just moved on the other side, and like we actually saw them do a rehearsal.
Wow.
And then
cool.
Then I was telling the crew that were there, because it's very interesting. Because now I'm like understanding how film kind of stuff works. Like all of this is just like they were like stopping traffic, holding up traffic just for like few minutes to get this rehearsal done, and then do the actual shot, right? So it was all like walkie-talkie, like, okay, we're gonna start in like 2 minutes, and so someone will be there ready to stop the traffic, so they can't have any of the cars go by at the time, and then and it's like they'll do the shot, 2 minutes later it's done, okay, you can let the traffic go, like that kind of
wow.
And then I was like telling the crew at 2:30 our bus thing is coming at that place where you just told us to move from, so that they were getting ready. And then that's when they walk and talk to everybody. There's a bus coming, tour pickup, blah blah blah. It's like
wow, that's so fascinating. You never think about like how the logistics of the shoot are.
Yeah,
and they must have like tons of crew, eh?
There was a ton of them. Yes.
But you never think about the people, because when you watch the credits at the end of the movie, right? You're hiring so many more people than the credits will allow, because you have to hire like those people that are like the walkie-talkie people that like pause. Yeah. I'm sure they don't make it into the credits, but you know what I'm saying? It's like it's a whole production for like a 2-minute shoot.
Yeah,
and these are because like you're getting angles. Like as a video editor, you don't need the full. We don't need like an hour long of footage. We just need like the clip, and then we're gonna put the clip in this piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was like
So it's like,
it seemed like it was. I think they're doing a new show on Fox. We looked it up what it was,
oh,
and
cool.
because I shot like one of the guys, but he was like sitting in front of it. I saw some of the names of the character.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I guess their outfits
Google
or
the
something.
characters.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And like I saw even when they did the rehearsal, I saw what I didn't catch that part where they were filming because I could see it. I wasn't thinking if they were doing an actual shot, right? And there were lifeguards running towards an accident where the bike was the guy off the bike was there, and then like some old lady hit it, and like all I heard was like the whole in the rehearsal was like, oh, I didn't see him. Like she was running out of the car. Like it was set up like a thing. I was like, why is there a bike on the ground? Like we walked by it. We didn't even realize what we were walking by at the time. But it was like the bike fell across, and it was like, I was like thinking like, is this a shoot? Like what's going on with why is the car placed like this? And then then it clicked when I was in it after.
Oh, that's so interesting. Were
I
they
see like
shouting,
I saw like one of the actress was like doing like those mouth exercises to get her like ready for the she's like doing these stretches and things like that. Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny because like what you see in front of the TV is not what's reality. You know what I mean? Like even when me and your brother saw the Reacher was filmed at the Black Dog, and then we saw the actor who was actually the main character. He was like outside and he was like talking to the crew and stuff. And you're like, it's so normal. But like once you edited it, it looks hyper real or hyper different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's the presentation that really matters.
Yeah, that and like even like the crew thing too, where it's like the crew is messaging their, I think like a drop-off pickup person who's like, oh, one of our producers needs to go back to home base, and then like the car came in, picked her up,
that's
and
so funny. It's so basic. It's like, of course it would be like that. Movie magic, man. And you love that stuff too. You're always watching like Corridor Crew.
Yeah.
So like you could see how it's like you take the the curtain away from the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Because that's so basic. Like, hey, the producer needs to get back to set. It's like, oh yeah, that's so basic. You know? But we never think about how much goes into the production of things, eh?
Yeah, you don't. Like, yeah. And how quickly it's done too. It's like they drop traffic.
Yeah, that's wild.
Oh, we're done. Okay. Like so like even when we were getting picked up, that's when they were doing the actual shoot. So they told our bus to just back it up so that you're not in the shot of the camera. Right? Okay. So you backed it up and then they did the shot. 2 minutes later, okay, we're done, you can go. Like this is it.
Wow. That's so interesting. When you said that they were shouting, was that during a rehearsal? Were they like, oh, to the left, you were saying like she was running. You didn't see the bike or whatever.
Oh no! You mean the set or?
No, you were saying something about like.
No! I saw like the whole. I saw the scene of what they were filming.
Oh, the scene. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, where the actress, the old lady, is an actress that was running out of the car, like because she hit somebody. Right, that was the whole thing. Got it. And where I was standing is where the lifeguards were running from to the scene, to the accident. Okay. Yeah.
Well, what's the show? Is it they watch?
No, I think it's actually it's North Shore Lifeguards or something like that. So it's like kind of makes sense. So it's not really. They're actually filming they're filming in location. So.
But do you think it's going to be like a national thing, like, or is it just more like a local?
No. It'd probably be like a Fox, like a TV show, but I don't know how well it's going to do in that sense. Well, I'm curious to just watch it now that I know what that scene was.
Yeah, totally.
Just to see it.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny, you know, when you're driving towards the zoo, I think you showed me this. Well, you definitely showed me it, but I don't know if you remember it. It's the not the Marvel, the DC people with like Robin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's that? You know, and you're like, oh, that's the road to get behind the zoo.
Yeah.
And like, but we've been there, so it's like, oh, it's really just like framing and angles, and you just never know. Like everything's so simple. Like what you witnessed it, like, oh, that's actually quite simple. But it's really the production value, the final editing that makes it like grand.
Yeah,
that's fascinating. Yeah. Any any other things?
No, I think what else did I do? the island tour, then the whale watching. Yeah, they're all.
Was the island tour like the Philippines? Remember when we did the island tour? The island tour in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like that? It's like you just went around the whole island, and like, oh, pointing at stuff.
Yeah, like it was going at different points of interest around the island, and
okay, that's cool. Is it a big island? Like, did it take a long time? Like, how long?
I mean, including the stops, the whole thing. I think we started around maybe 8:30 in the morning. Came back around 4 or something, maybe 4.
That's a whole day.
Yeah. Okay. But you get the food. It's like a part of the whole thing where it's
totally. Yeah, for sure.
The local food, some restaurant, and then at different points of interest. And I think there was also the Dole farm, which is where the pineapples and everything. So that was cool. And then of course the coffee thing too, because they do have a lot of coffee. They make coffee there too. So
did you try it?
No.
Oh, all right. I'm wondering if it's good because like they're usually good at those spots.
Mm-hmm.
Like compared to
the thing is that it's the reason the Dole person started the pineapple farm there was the ground is very nutritious because it's from a volcano.
Yeah. Oh, fascinating. I think you told me that before. Mm-hmm. That like or you showed me a doc about that. Like you can what do you call it? You can grow so much in Hawaii,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you know the export? Like how much they export from there? Is it? I
don't know that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think I saw that somewhere. It's like. Mm-hmm. They do like a lot of export because it's so fertile. Like they'll grow things in like greenhouses and like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you said like it's the lava.
It's the volcano. Yeah, it's from the. But like this is like there's no more volcano on Oahu, but there's on the main big island, right? So
interesting. It's like what makes fertile soil.
Just new material, or I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, right? It's like okay, lava, but lava comes from the volcano, and then most of our world started as a volcano. So is there like a lot of like
somehow,
and,
nutrients within that? Yeah,
right. Yeah. Whereas like if you grow in like the middle of freaking, I don't know, if I go to the forest here and I just try and grow something, it's like it's dying. It's because the soil itself has been like overused.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, yeah.
We never think about that. It's like lava contributes to healthy soil.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. One of the plus points is, I knew this before, but it was getting the confirmation from one of the tour guys. There are no snakes in Hawaii.
I was about to ask. Yeah. I was going to ask you that. Yeah. So there's no snakes at all on the island?
No snakes, unless someone like brings in a snake. But like that's the only way. There are never, no. Yeah. No, I don't think so. But like I
heard there's a pig problem though. Is that true? Or maybe that's Texas. I don't know. Hogs? Any hogs?
People do like
fly
warthogs and
they fly over the.
But they hunt them. They hunt them, right? But they're not in in like the city areas. If they are there, I didn't hear about that. But there are a lot of chickens and roosters roaming around. Like
wow, no snakes.
There's no snakes,
bro.
No snakes.
Huh. So you'd be like totally safe. Is there any poisonous things there, like poisonous spiders, something like
that? Not that I know of.
Okay, this is the most amazing place on earth. Then no way to die. What if we found out through the Bible that's actually like the Garden of Eden? That'd be crazy, right? Like
I don't know,
because no snakes. That's pretty impressive that you were able to hold that off. And because like you think about Australia, everything can kill you.
Yeah.
Like a tiny spider will kill you. I'm like, that's why I don't want to go to Australia. I'm like kind of freaked out about like the level of death.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Any last things about Hawaii?
The best place.
Yeah, you're making me want to visit now. I'm like,
it's got the island vibe, the island life, right? It's like America, but not America at the same time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Is that the only island you've been to? You've been to other ones?
I've been to other ones before. Yeah, not this trip.
So is this the best one? Like you're like, oh, this is the
Well, this is the most tourist one, right?
Okay.
So there's a ton of things around.
Okay.
That way. But the other ones are I like the other ones. They're much more mellow vibe because it's much more less people, right?
Okay. Interesting. So would you suggest this, like, let's say I'm like, okay, my first time in Hawaii, should I go here? Or
yeah, I think it's a good place to start, but if you can also check the other island out, especially like the volcano island, because they do tours to that place too.
I want to see that observatory too. Like that'd be kind of cool.
think is that on? I think that's on the big island, which is the volcano island.
Okay, cool. Have you been to that? You've been to that one, right?
Yeah.
The observatory?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it hard to breathe? Are you like
No. I was okay to breathe. But you can see some clouds below you. Depends on
really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, how they're forming. Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
I think maybe some people may feel the breathing thing. I don't think I ever felt it when I was there.
Because I'm imagining, because it's like thinner.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I went to Peru, it's like it's hard to. You're like kind of lightheaded and tired all the time because the oxygen's thinner.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't think I.
But it wasn't as
felt
bad.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Wow. All right. Hawaii is the place to go. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's expensive for us Canadians. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that is like. Is it the higher end? Like, because you have to buy tickets too.
Yeah, it's tickets and stay. Yeah.
Were you
and they're not even. I read that they're still not back to their level that they were before COVID. Amount of people going.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. No, but it's also because inflation, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Were you able to like package it together, like a flight plus a hotel?
Yeah.
Or did you have to buy them separately? Oh, okay, that's great. All right.
Yeah.
Super. Nice. Yeah. All right. That'll definitely be one of the.
But it's kind of. I mean, it depends. Some people may feel it far because the flight is relatively long.
5 hours?
Oh no, more than that.
Oh, what? Oh no way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, how many hours? How long did it take you to get there, bro?
Going there, we kind of arrived 1 hour early, but generally it's 10 hours going.
Oh boy.
And coming back was about 8 hours. No, it's a direct flight.
Oh, that's pretty long. You're basically in Asia, bro. 2 more hours, you would have got to like Philippines and India. 12 hours.
No. It's much more longer.
To go to India?
Yeah.
Philippines is like 12 if I go direct. 12, 13, something like that.
Yeah.
How long is your flight to India?
No, that's normally there's no. If there is a direct flight, it's like maybe 15 hours.
What? Oh, it's even further. Damn.
Yeah. But this was going 10, coming back 8 hours, and But like the thing is, like Hawaii is just in the middle of the Pacific, nothing around, right?
That is kind of freaky though, bro. Like. You're just flying. Like if you get lost there's no way you're gonna like crash land or you know what I mean. Like
that's right.
You know when you look at like plane rides and then you're flying to someplace, you kind of fly near like island, land.
Yeah.
But if you're just flying straight across the ocean, it's like that's kind of freaky.
Yeah. Well, our one is a direct flight, so we were mainly on land up to when we're above California, and then it's just water to Hawaii. That's like, I think 4 hours above just water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I guess wouldn't be too bad if you got like crashed and then people would save you. It's 4 hours, not too bad. Like, yeah. Still freaky though.
Yeah.
That's cool. How long's the podcast so far?
1 hour.
Oh, okay. This is not bad. It's not bad. Any last things that you want to bring up?
No, just a really good trip. The weather is just amazing.
I'm putting on record. If I go to Hawaii, that's the one place I will do skydiving. Because I heard like you would actually see something nice. Yeah. Because like if we do it here in because there's some places in Ontario, what are you gonna see? You know what I mean? Because people are like, I want to skydive, but like I'd want to skydive and at least get good footage. And Hawaii seems like, it'd be like beautiful from there. Would you ever do it? Skydiving? No. All right. Let me try.
I don't want to say like 100% no, but yeah.
Let me sell you on this. So I was also like no, but then my coworker did skydiving in Hawaii, and I was like, oh, is it like a roller coaster? and she was saying that there's no drop feeling. It's so I don't want to skydive because I'm afraid of like that drop feeling on a roller coaster. And she said that you feel that instantaneously because you jump out the plane, but then all of a sudden it's gone. It's more like because you're falling at the same level as gravity, so you're not actually feeling it. It's really like windy, but with a roller coaster, they're trying to like rev up the
Sure, right. Okay.
speed to make the loop, right?
Yeah.
So they're actually like throwing you.
Okay.
So yeah, the feeling's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, yeah.
But I don't think that's what I was not thinking about the feeling.
Oh, what is it? Death?
No, it's just falling.
But all right, totally. But I heard it's like what do you call that? You're like in stasis, so you can actually do things. You can like have a conversation with the person behind you, and it only lasts like 2 minutes because you're just falling so fast.
Right.
But it's still like the fear of like falling out of something.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But I don't want to say like 100% no, but it is.
Yeah,
it's not something I'm looking to do in that sense.
Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. Yeah. It's not a hard no. Like for me, a hard no is like bungee jumping. I don't know if I would do that because it just seems dangerous. Like
I think it depends. I think maybe it also depends on where we're gonna do it. Right, places that have very good safety rules, maybe that. But
yeah, true. Yeah, true. Like Philippines, I wouldn't do that. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of freaky. But Hawaii, yeah. I mean, it's America. Like it seems okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so a lot of craziness happened this week. We definitely don't have time for it. We can bring it up next week, but I do want to touch on. Actually, the craziness that's being outed now through celebrityism.
Oh right.
Have you seen like the Diddy stuff?
Yeah.
All right. Do you think that? You know how they said like 2024 started off with the truth bomb with Cat Williams?
Mm-hmm.
And then like apparently there's going to be more disclosure in 2024. Like, is this the year of like finding out things? Because that's wild that we found out about Diddy, you know? And then you find out like, is there a connection, a cabal of like this whole ring? And then the Nickelodeon thing that just came out behind the curtain or something.
Right.
And then Amanda Bynes. You know what I mean? Like, are we about to find out that this whole facade was happening the whole time? And you hear that conspiracy theorists all the time, like, there's like secret sex cults and all that. And then you're like, you're crazy, bro. And then you're finding out it's like, oh, maybe it's true.
Right.
Like, what do you think?
No, I think that there are some things that are true and something that's where people would fall into like saying everything is like that. But I don't think it's like,
true. Yeah,
but that's what generally happens, right? I'm seeing this stuff online where it's like that container ship hitting that bridge, and then I see someone like trying to make a connection. It's like, oh, this person who was the CEO of this just died 9 days ago. Or
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But then the actual truth is like, but again, who's gonna Google it? Because the actual truth, like for that video, was just like, no, none of these things were related. She's a different person, not a CEO of this. Yeah. So like, this is the issue that generally could happen, right? Yes.
Like misinformation.
Like
we're drawing lines where
we're making connections to a case that hasn't happened yet, right? These are allegations that
right. We have to find out how
go through the courts. These are things where they come out, which is actual factual and which is not, because there's going to be there are two sides playing it, right? Of course, there's one that's going against whatever is happening there, right, with Diddy or other ones, and then the court point of that is to figure out what is the actual truth.
Right. But I'm saying we could find some craziness.
Yeah, no, of course,
2024, right, with the Diddy things that's happening, and like now courts are getting involved, and same with like the UAP stuff, like courts are getting involved. This leads into really the new world that we're living in. And I think that by the end of, I really think that we're in this transitionary period. I was saying this to you before the podcast started, but like we're in this transitionary period of like, there's the old way of doing things and then the new way of doing things. Right? Like before we had the standard of like, okay, buy a house, get a bunch of kids, like get a car, go to school, like relive it out. You know what I mean? Like which was actually played out through insurance companies. If you look into that history of why we have that general narrative, like the American dream, right?
Hmm.
But I really think that people are having more choice now, and our choices are also like skewed and limited in different ways. That I don't think that way that we are living is how we're going to live in the next 10 to 20, 30 years, right? Like with prices, with like opportunities and choices, and I feel like I see a lot of these memes and I'm like, oh, that's me now, which is like the millennial dog parent.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
see that's the new lifestyle
Yeah,
that
yeah,
are
yeah.
being carved
Yeah.
out, right? And like it really hit me yesterday when I was looking at the wedding photos that I have, and like Athena's in all those photos, and I'm like, oh, it didn't click until I was like, oh yeah, we are literally that new type of person.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that that's going to be more and more people because I'm seeing more and more memes of that. Like
Hmm.
the people are living differently. I don't know your thoughts. Like, what do you think? You
No.
think do you see it too, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
not
course. Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Right?
No. Yeah. That is the general thing that's happening in the Western world. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Hmm.
And like even the amalgamation of different cultures. Like people are getting anime, people are getting Asian food, rap music. Like it's all becoming a style of when we were okay, how do I put this? When we were coming up, when we were getting older, we had like subcultures. Like, oh, those are the hip hop heads. Those are the like Asian artsy
Hmm.
kids.
Hmm.
Those are what I'm trying to say, right? Like we had like cliques. But I feel like that everything's being mashed into one now. Like it's like you can be this, but also this. You can be that. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Right.
And we're so inclusive in that way that's like find out who you are.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I can even just tell you my pronouns are like this and that.
Right. Right.
And you have to accept it. Like we're so
Hmm.
I- we're like a teenage person finding out their identity, and I feel like that's where we are societally now
Right.
because we have so many new toys and options. Like what's
Hmm.
the digital world going to do to our psyche 10, 20, 30 years from
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I think it is the digital world that has changed this.
Yeah, for 100%. Yeah,
Right.
totally. And globalization because now we can like fly.
Yeah, but that's what
So
the digital world did in a way, right? They
that's
were
true. Like
flying
radar.
before,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
totally.
it's the vastness of information that we can get today that we couldn't get before.
True. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like anime, you had to like it was so hard
It
to
was so hard
find,
to
and now you
find.
just go to like a
Yeah,
website,
yeah.
right? Like, yeah, that's true. I guess the impetus was the internet, but yeah, and the other part too is like,
Like
is it?
there's a lot of
Yeah,
things that have changed in the culture, right? Like even with TV and stuff,
yeah.
everybody would go and watch the show at the same time. That's not happening anymore. We can watch whatever we want to
Right,
watch. So
totally.
that
Exactly.
affects.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
yeah.
people can have their own likes and dislikes. So people can explore those things that they couldn't
Yeah,
do before.
yeah, totally, totally, totally. Okay, okay, and this is. Did I send you that meme where it's like 30, 20 years ago, and it was like George Costanza, and 30, 20, 30 now,
No, I
and
didn't.
it's
I don't
like
think
a
I see that one.
youthful look. Okay, so um,
Well, I don't remember.
so
Yeah.
they had like you remember George Costanza from Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Glasses,
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So when you were like 29, 30 back then, that's what you thought of a person looking
Right.
like.
Okay.
But then you go 29, 30 now, it's like they're more youthful. They have more choices.
Right.
Like, and I was like looking around my like man cave area and I was like, oh, this is what it's like to not have kids. Okay, I get it. Like
Yeah.
you could just do whatever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but those are the choices most people are not most people, but like more and more people are starting to make
Mm-hmm.
when they become like dog parents. And then you're like what? Like, all right, let's say you can engineer a kid. You don't even have to like give birth to a kid because the hardest part is like as you get older, like the birth rate becomes harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
To like have a child. But like, let's say you can like clone a child. So you almost get the best of both worlds in the future. You just don't even know. So you can be like 45 and you're like, I got my life together now. And then you have a kid.
Yeah.
But like, think about when we were younger, when I said like that meme about George Costanza, when you're like 29, like by my age right now, my parents had 2 kids and they were going to school and they're almost about to buy a house.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not even close to that zone, bro. Like, we're totally different people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see those other old memes where it's like men back then were like warriors and stuff. And then now you look at the men now, you're like totally different from what it once was.
Sure. Right.
Right. And it's like this rapid innovation is totally making a different type of human being.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe this. Like, do you see it too? Or
Yeah.
right? It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's really changing us.
Right.
From what we
and you're like, how do you want to live your life?
Used to. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we see like the perils of, I don't know how to explain this, but it's like, because, oh no, here's the best line. The fool learns from their own mistakes. The smarter person learns from the mistakes of others.
Mm-hmm.
So because of this access of information, we can actually see certain examples of what a lifestyle would be like if it played out. And we're like, ooh, I don't want to go there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like we are afforded more opportunities of understanding how to build the life that we want. And that is going to look chaotic to the ones who are trying to control the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Because like before, it was like, okay, get a kid, get a mortgage, get a car. All those things are so expensive. You're locked in. You have to have a 9-to-5 job. Even if you hate it, you have to have it. Right?
Right.
But now it's like, let's say you're like, you don't have those things. You can choose a path that you want that you're like, oh, that's more fulfilling than that.
Right.
But then it's like, how do I control you? And the only way to control you is raise the prices so that you're locked into having to be in the system because everything's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's like,
yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
Like there's a control mechanism, and the old control mechanism was like the family. The nuclear family was a control mechanism because you're locked in. Like once you have it, it's like I can't escape this. But now it's like prices is the new control mechanism. Because you can make a bunch of money, but if it also costs more money, then you're still locked into not being able to like do.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
and then that inadvertently is forcing us not to have more children because you're like, how do you even pay for it? How do you take care of it? How do you give it everything it needs?
Yeah,
you know, like we're inadvertently forcing ourselves down a path of like a new type of human, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Who doesn't necessarily want the things that other people wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
But it also seems weird to the people because it's transitionary period. It's kind of weird to some people, but understandable to others.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Are you trying to say like someone is controlling it, or is just these are the things that are happening within our?
No, it's inadvertent control. It's like you don't, like I have the choice to all right, so the best example is like having babysat, and I was like so obsessed with like protecting this thing. Like all of my attention was like take care of the person I'm babysitting. And I was like, I couldn't even imagine a parent like being in there. Like it's not my kid, but it exhausted me because I was like, I need to really focus and make sure all your needs are met.
Right.
But then if you have a parent, it's like, but that's not going away. Like I can at least go home and then be like, oh, I'm chilling.
Sure. Yeah.
But then it's like the grind never stops for them. So like that's what I mean about like you're locked in. You can't not, and then you become like a deadbeat dad if you
sure. Yeah.
do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like there's so many negative connotations, but like it's inadvertent lock-in. Like we're not trying to control you, but there are mechanisms of control. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not like before
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, it took a village to raise a child, right? So if I'm like busy, I can just pass you off and do this, and then like, oh, they know more about mathematics, go to them. You know what I'm saying? But like now it's more the onus is on you, and that makes you even more locked in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
More like a individualistic feel to it versus a community feel to it.
For the child
Yeah.
bearing, yeah,
Yeah.
child raising,
Yeah.
yeah. And because of that, because your resources are limited, you're more locked in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to do this job. I have to do that thing. I have to watch you. Like, when are you going to read a book? When are you going to,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
all of your attention is on that
Mm-hmm.
thing. That's just one example. There's so many other things like that you could be locked in for. But because you were asking me, do you think is it controlled by something? I don't think it's controlled. I think it's just like the choices pushed us into these
Sure. Right.
control
Okay. Yeah.
systems.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But you see it too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Of
Like, does that make
course.
sense?
Yeah.
But I think we're breaking away from that, is what I'm also saying. But being controlled in other ways. But like that was the old paradigm of
Yeah.
how you
Now
live your life.
it's more
The new
like
paradigm.
having it's the having the information to act on that. So like knowing
Yeah.
about these things or like, it's what social media has really done, right? Seeing other people's lives.
Yeah, no.
It's really
Yeah.
what has
Yeah,
changed.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh, that seems like a tough call. Like before we didn't have the information at our hands. So we were just kind of like doing what we thought was important.
Mm-hmm.
But then now that you could see the errors of other people, you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, not knocking anybody with like a crap degree, but like when you get like a really crap degree,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, if only I'd seen somebody walk down that path and tell me that that was a crap degree. If I get like a master's in like drawing lines, it's like, what are you gonna do with that, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's
Yeah.
like nobody told us that. But if you watched a bunch of like reels of like, don't get this degree, like what am I gonna do with it? You'd be like, oh, I'm learning from the mistakes of others.
Right.
But I feel like with the information, it's like we're becoming wiser, I guess, as a species.
Mm-hmm.
But the more wise we are, the different choices we make, which creates a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yes. Of course.
So what's it going to look like in
Well, yeah,
freaking
a different lifestyle.
10,
Yeah,
20, 30 years?
I think it makes more like it's now your choice of what you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have better information to make that choice.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what's it going to look like in 10, 20, 30 years? Right?
Yeah. We shall see.
It's going to be wild, right? Yeah. My cousin was asking me, because we were talking about tech. Jonah was asking me, he's like, would you get the chip in your brain? The Neuralink. I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, I wouldn't get like the first iterations of it, but we all got cell phones. If
Mhm.
everyone's using it and it's more efficient, of course we're going to get that. Right? So it's like even with you like compound tech, the wisdom that we're gaining by learning from others, it's like what really is 10, 20, 30 years going to look like from now. And especially if they announce that there are UFOs that are real, and then like you find out about like the crazy sex ring of like the celebrities, and then that dismantles that. You're like, it's almost like, because how long has society been around? Like this industrial society, like 200 years, something like that, right?
Yeah.
With celebrities, I'm started getting really popular.
Sure. Yeah. That's probably even less, 100 years ago when that kind of started.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it's almost like in that whole time, people were gaming the system. Like Puff Daddy gaming the system.
Mhm.
And then now we're entering this phase where it's shining a light on the people that game the system. And then we're like, oh, it's a broken system we live in. So let's rebuild it
Mhm.
in a different way. You see this too, right? Or like, am I just totally out to lunch?
No. Yeah. That's all.
Right?
That all can only happen from having more information.
Exactly. Yeah. Nothing hides, right? And then you know what's crazy? You know what's really crazy about this? I've been seeing so many, I think I've been sending them to you, like 50 Cent memes where he's been telling us the whole time, bro. Now people are going back in like the archives and they're showing you like this was being said the whole time,
Right.
like
Right.
Justin Bieber stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I saw this thing with Justin Bieber where he was like, Diddy was like, "Yo, we're not friends anymore," and then like Justin Bieber was like, "Oh yeah, I just." Because
Right.
now we're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, what did Justin see, bro? Like,
Mm-hmm.
why does he want to be your friend? Or like Usher, there was this interview where he was on Howard Stern and he said like it was called Diddy Camp, and you would go there and it would just be like tons of celebrities having like orgies and stuff. And he said this way back when, but we didn't believe him.
Right.
And then now it's like coming up again. You're like, oh, that's what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like nothing hides from the internet, you know?
Yeah.
Like dudes will do a deep dive.
Yeah. It's
You know?
yeah. I think it's just that, and including like now having the ability to be free to say what you want to say, especially
Right?
with
Yeah,
social
totally.
media. So that's another thing that's changed it.
Because this would have never aired on TV. You would have just, dude, that's actually a trip too. Even if we uncovered this in like 1970, let's say, you would just get like a little news headline at the bottom.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I mean it could be,
Puff Daddy-
yeah. But even then, even if they did say it on the news, you have to watch it at that time.
Right? Exactly. But now we can go back and we watch it. We're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, dude, what? And then we all become like self-reporters. So it's like our access to information is really making us more wise on the mistakes of other people, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, one thing I heard about the what are we at for time?
125.
Okay. Ooh. All right, whatever. Two last things. I have more, but like we'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard this thing about the news outlets, right? New York Times dropped the Tic Tac, right? That's what started everything. 2017 article about the Tic Tac, and then that's when they're like, oh, UFOs are
right.
real, whatever. So one thing this person said was, how come the New York Times isn't looking at David Grush? You have this ex-Army intelligence person who's been a part of thousands of special access programs, has hand-delivered daily briefings to the president, but nobody's covering it as like an article in mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then it got me thinking, like, other people online are covering it, so I'm getting information from those people. That David Grush is also putting out interviews, right? So you can learn about it. But before, when the internet wasn't around, it's like you would have never heard about that because they didn't want to cover it. So it's like you had more opportunities to hide your like nefarious ways or control people.
Okay. Yeah.
But now we have the internet, which is like the great illuminator,
mm-hmm.
right? Like Book of Revelations, like the end of the world. Armageddon means like, doesn't actually mean the end of the world. It's like the end of like your ignorance, you know? And they said we're in the Armageddon phase, and it's like, is that it literally because of the internet?
I think it depends.
Even
You know
what I say?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but even with the news thing, I think it depends on if you understand how news could work, right? Or articles work, right? It's not like you can make a thing about with him, but again, it's then it becomes an opinionated piece. You have to be able to find
do the research.
You have to be able to find other corroborating sources. So if you can't reach those other things, then it just becomes an opinionated piece.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's a good point. Actually, you're right.
Because they don't always just release the information, right? And also it takes investigation. It takes time right? Like the whole thing about the U.S. has been like working with Ukraine for 10 years, the CIA stuff. Remember that came out, but that's like years long investigation. Then the reporting came out.
That's what I was gonna say. Actually, now that when you brought that up, it's like that makes total sense. So, like in 3 years, we might have a David Grush insider scoop where it's like fully vetted. You have, you're right. I didn't think about that. It just takes time.
Yeah, because there's all of things. Yeah, he can be on a lot of different things, but those are opinionated places.
Yeah,
right.
True.
They don't have necessarily to go and how do you check that this information is correct? Well, first of all, you can't even talk to those other people right now, right? Like get access to those people. Right. There's different things like that. I think that's like some things that people forget about news, or at least articles. Yeah, how they work.
That is a good point. That is a good point. I agree. Um, okay, last thing, and last thing because I think it's pretty interesting. The the book I finished is called After Disclosure, and the whole thing was about what it'll look like if they disclose that UAPs are real.
Hmm.
Okay, and I never even thought about this, and I'm like, that's actually why they wouldn't be releasing it so quickly. Okay, so what do you do about laws? So this is the craziest part about it. We have laws that govern our society. So I'm like, okay, it'll be like a religious shock. You're going to realize that your whole society is like, because like, what are the actual ramifications if
Hmm.
they're like, oh, UFOs are real, aliens are real? You're like, oh, what do I think about God? What do I think about technology? And we're like, oh, maybe it has something to do with like energy transfer. These are all viable things, like reasons why you can't release it because it might go haywire. But the one thing that I read in that book, and I was like, this is the biggest takeaway, I've never even thought about it, is what do you do about laws? And what I mean by that is, let's say you say UFOs are real. Then a UFO hits your car. Who are you going to sue? Is
Hmm.
that technically an act of God? Is the insurance company going to cover that? How can you even reinforce that to a UFO who doesn't play by your rules?
Sure.
This is the bigger thing. It's actually like, how do we even interact with them?
Hmm.
You know?
No, I understand what
And
you're
I think,
saying. Yeah, no,
and I'm like, that is actually,
those are
we've
all,
literally done.
yeah, those are all credible things. But it's just, I watched this thing about. I'll talk to you about it later. But
Okay.
it's also like it's what kind of what happened with slavery too. It's the economy stuff. It's like with slavery when they banned
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, I don't know what happened
Yeah,
though,
yeah. No, no,
but
no. I'm saying like, well, if we don't have any more slaves, then who picks the cotton? This is
oh, yeah,
this is the
true. Yeah, yeah,
like this is the things that
yeah, yeah.
we go through and say, but we still find ways to make
No,
new
for
laws,
sure,
right?
for sure, for sure, for sure. And that is the thing that the book
Mm.
brought up. Like, we have to be brave enough in order to do that. Like, it just brought that as a problem, and I was like, I didn't even think about that. It's like who cares about? Yeah, sure, energy is an important one, but it's really like, how do we interact with them legally?
Yeah,
Because they're outside of our laws,
sure.
so they're technically like gods to us.
Hmm.
Like, we can't do anything about it.
Hmm.
And then who sues who, all that stuff. Um, yeah, I it would create such a huge power shift that I feel like you do have to medicine drip it. Like, you have to slowly,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
what they are doing, right? They can't just like come out the closet and be like, oh, aliens are real. Because like, what do we do with that
Hmm.
now? We will find a way, like you said, but it'll be so shocking. Did you know that during 9/11 they froze the uh the stock market?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know that. They used, so basically, I love this book because they used past examples for future, like what happens if aliens exist or like they
Hmm.
announce aliens.
Hmm.
They said that they would freeze the stock market as well because if just for like a week or whatever,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because you need yourself to cool down.
Stabilize. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because they said that just like in 9/11, people started like pulling out their money, like, oh, dude, what's the end of the world, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's like, I didn't even think about that either.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, the stock market would probably crash. They'd be like, what are we doing? People like freeze their bank accounts. I need money. It would
I
be
mean,
panic.
yeah, yeah. But
Like,
this
what do you do with that?
the same thing went through in 2008.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
froze the stock market?
No, no, they
Oh,
didn't.
dude, I
Sorry,
didn't
they
know.
didn't freeze it, but people took out their money, and they thought
Yeah,
that it was going to
exactly.
be the
Right.
end of the world, but it wasn't the end of
Yeah.
the
See?
world.
Yeah. We will always find a way, but the panic is what we're trying to mitigate,
Sure. Yeah.
trying to control the panic. Because like the panic has crazy ramifications. Like when you pull out your money, you destroy businesses.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't know how this is all going to play out, but I'm very fascinated to see the next like 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah. Oh, all right. Actually, what's the exact time right now for the podcast? I do have to end because I got to
133.
do some Easter stuff.
Yeah.
33. Okay, super last thing because I was like top of mind with this thing. Um, but like we are all, because I said like 10, 20, 30 years, and it made me think about like our own demise. And it's wild to think that we will really demise. We will really die. You know, like we say, like, yeah, I'm gonna die, but like But really though, and then your
Right,
question becomes like, what are people gonna say? I've heard this before. It's like, live your life asking what would people say at my funeral, right? Because then it's like, was he this type of person? Was he
right,
that type
right.
of person? And it's like it's so you can run on autopilot in life, and then death comes, and you're like, oh, what did I do with my life? Or you could like actively shift your life, and then like when you die, it's like, oh, that was expected.
Yeah.
Like I unfolded it how I would,
Right.
and I was thinking even for myself, like I would like people to say that, like, oh, he died playing a video game. Like he to him it was like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
but I put that out there though. It's not like
Sure.
because I'm actively manifesting it in that way. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we don't really give thought to the life we live until it's over. And then people are reflecting on the life we lived.
Yeah.
To us, we're just living it. We're just like, I'm just doing 9 to 5. I'm just doing 9 to 5, right? Like whatever. But like it's only when we've gone and then people look back, or you yourself look back on your deathbed and you're like, what did I do with that time?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But we never think about that.
No.
But this is the thing, it's like freedoms now. Like realizing these things, like, oh, we will die, and like somebody's gonna listen to this and be like, oh dude, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like I will die, somebody will tell me. Like you're learning from the wisdoms of other people.
Right.
And this is creating more new choices and different types of human beings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes. Agreed.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Trippy. Anyways, I'm glad you had a dope trip. I will look into Hawaii for myself. And hopefully you go together and we go skydiving. That'd be sick.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Yeah. That'd be cool. All right. Till next time.
Over the volcano.
That would be, dude, imagine it's an active volcano, right? So imagine like the shot with like the fire. You're like, oh, dude, I can see lava. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Anyways, all right. Till next time. Tasty Vish.
Peace.
Bye. All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.